on our science activities. So our learning target will be the same because I did a big general learning target for us. And that way we could get through it all and know the big picture. So today you'll find your activity under Google Classroom, and I always have to look at the date, week of April 19th through the 23rd. It is labeled for the day and the time, so it would be Friday. And there's Friday morning. If you did not get to that Friday morning activity, it's a really great book on Epic. It's called Extreme Weather, and a quick Google form. If you didn't get to it today, I know some of us ran out of time. We're going to do it Monday as well. So I will give you Monday to do it. But remember, those are your science grades, and I really think you'll learn from it and enjoy the books. I didn't just pick a random book. I looked at it and I thought it was perfect for what we're doing. All right. So today we've got a lot of stuff on our Google Classroom assignment. So make sure you know where it is, my remote learners, because we're going to need these attachments. So you might want to open another tab with those weather graphs and tables, because we're going to be looking at those again. We're going to have to finish that activity. But let me just go over our learning targets first so we can get our heads back into the weather and science field here. We're learning, oh, where'd it go? We're learning to make observations, obtain information, and create graphical displays to describe patterns in weather, climate, erosion, and features of the earth. We'll be doing this not just this week, but next week and the following, because we have other things we're doing as well. This is just gonna improve your comprehension and build your schema. So we've been recording patterns of the weather across different times, and we are going to be graphing those. Hopefully we'll get to that today. We've also been predicting what kind of weather might happen next. And then we will be looking at the data in graphs and tables to help us decide where that information is located. Which city does it belong to? We're not going to talk about natural disasters yet or the phenomena. We're going to do that next week. So it's something to look forward to. But let's see, we read this. I know what I wanted to share with you. I would like to share just a section of a book, and I think I'll model a little skill. Sometimes, and Mrs. Harrison has talked to you about this in EL, sometimes you want to learn something specific. And especially when it's nonfiction, you get a book and you think, okay, this book is about weather. But what I'm focusing on today is really about forecasting weather. And its book is really great, but do you think I have time to read everything in this book to you guys? Do you think you'd be able to listen for that long? Probably not. So I did something to find the section. What do you think I did? What tool did I use, Noah? Index is where I went. I could have tried the table of contents, and that's just a nonfiction text feature, right, that I can look at. And there's the table of contents. And when I kind of skimmed through it, I was looking for forecasting, and I thought, do I see it? What do you see? Do you see it? Look where my pen is. Can you see my pen? Weather. What page should I go to? If I didn't see it in the contents, sometimes if it's super specific, you don't always find it in the table of contents and you have to look in the index. That's another nonfiction text feature Mrs. Harrison talked to you guys about. But it was kind of nice because I don't want to read this whole book to you, but I do want to hit a little bit more on weather forecasting because that's what we've been doing. We're acting like meteorologists. Yeah, because we're analyzing data on graphs, right? That's what meteorologists do. We're using our math, we're taking measurements, and then we're going to create graphs. That's all part of weather forecasting. Yes, Finn. Okay, so Finn just made this real, why we need this, and I'm thankful for that. He said Finn and his dad, they like to go on day trips to the river, and in order to do that and have a good time, they have to predict the weather. All right, so weather forecasting. Knowing what the weather will be like in advance is useful if you are planning a day out or trying to decide what clothes to wear. Isn't that what Finn just said? Exactly. For some people, however, weather predictions are absolutely vital. That means super duper important, a must. Sailors and pilots use weather forecasts to plan their routes so that they can take advantage of the wind or avoid bad weather. How many of you have the luxury of getting to go to a tropical place where you get to go on boats with your grandparents, or maybe you visit somewhere where you're, okay, if you do, I know my children have grown up going to Florida every summer, and their grandpa, which we always called Pop, was so concerned about us going out on that boat because people die out there. It's true. I know you're like, what? Boating's so fun. It is. But when you're on the Gulf of Mexico out there in the middle of the ocean and there's a storm, bad things can happen. That's why it's vital to know the weather. And often we would be out on the boat and we'd see dark clouds coming in because it seems like in Florida, the sky's just larger because you don't have those mountains blocking it, right? So we would have to quickly, he would get us home as fast as he could. But I always felt safe with him because he knew, he looked at the weather maps, he looked at the forecast ahead of time before we'd get on that boat because he knew his grandkids were going to be on there. He didn't want anything bad to happen. So that's a very important, it's an important job to be a meteorologist. Farmers consult long-term forecasts to find the best times for planting crops and harvesting. Think about that. Do farmers rely on weather? What do they need for their crops? Elena, they need rain, right? If you're in the middle of a drought, is that a good time? Not really. We need rain to make things grow. Most countries have their own meteorological services, which collect and records weather readings and use these to forecast the weather. Newspaper and television forecasters get their information from this service. Have any of you been to NCAR in Boulder? It's called it's NCAR. It's the National Center for Atmospheric Research. It is free to go in. If you're ever there, I'm not sure what they're doing now with COVID, but put it on your list, your bucket list, because it's got interactive weather activities. It's very cool. And that is where we get a lot of our information for our state, right? When I was able to take my students there, they were able to show us models of the largest ball of hail. Like it was about this big. They have a model of it. It was really interesting. I think you guys would like it. Forecasting the weather is a difficult job. You guys have figured that out this week, haven't you? It's been tough going outside trying to figure out what the next day is going to be. And I haven't been right. I thought we were going to get a big storm because of our barometer pointing down yesterday, but we really didn't get much snow or rain. It was very minimal. I was a bit disappointed in my forecasting. In the past, people used their experiences of watching the weather to determine what it might do. But this only gave them forecasts for up to several hours ahead. Today, weather forecasts are worked out by powerful computers. Boy, I can see why. Information from weather stations and weather balloons is fed into a computer, which analyzes it and calculates how conditions might look over the next few hours or days. Forecasters also use weather satellites and radar. Satellites send back pictures of clouds. We've been looking at clouds, right? They give us information, which show up how depressions and fronts are moving. See, if you look at the states to the west of us, if they've got storms happening, we could predict that they're going to move our way, right? If there's something happening over in California or Washington and Oregon and the winds are moving to the east toward us, we can predict that, oh, that storm's headed our way. We better get prepared. Radar can detect rainfall over very wide areas. Radar is often so accurate that it can forecast rain almost to the minute. Did you know television weather forecasters do not stand in front of a real map? They stand in front of a blue screen. This map is created by a computer. Studio technicians superimpose an image of the map onto the screen by electronic means. That's pretty neat. So that is what we're focusing on. How do we predict the weather? It's tough. Well, we're going to look back at some of our maps. And I want to remind you, we did this already. We are going to finish our, it was called, wait, wrong one. I don't want this one. It was called the, I need to look at Thursday. Sorry, everybody, hold on. I want Thursdays because we didn't finish. So I want to finish Thursday's lesson before I start a new one. Don't you think that's a good idea? Yes. Me too. We looked at some of our maps that, I guess it was Wednesday, because we had Haiwan yesterday, didn't we? You can look on Wednesdays or Fridays. You'll get all this information. I put it on both. But on the Google slide, we looked at 2 examples for our world map. It's called this World City Map Match. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna match it up. The ones that we looked at, here we go. We had to decide where in the world are those temperatures and precipitation totals coming from. We found that one of them was Tampa, Florida. Do you guys remember doing this now? Yeah. We looked at this one and we said, wait a minute, let's think about this. If they have temperatures in December that are 75 degrees, and actually, it really never seems to get too much colder than 53 degrees in the winter, but it can be 71 degrees. And in the summer, oh my goodness, it's 90, 91 degrees, not as hot as Arizona, but there's a lot of moisture or humidity in the air. As you can see down here in June and July, they get them in August, get the most amount of rain. So this is a kind of tropical climate. We realized that, right? Just from our data. This was our snowfall. I love this. It says no, you guys see this? No snowfall recorded. I lived in Florida for 25 years and I saw snow once and it only lasted for like a minute and then it was gone. But I was so excited. One day we got snow and it melted immediately. But I still ran outside and touched it and was so excited. So no snowfall. Florida doesn't get snow. A lot of places don't get snow. They get what instead? Rain. They get rain. We didn't even get hail in Florida because it never got cold enough for hail. So our precipitation, we didn't have sleet. I only knew of rain, except for when I visit my grandparents in New York. Then I got to see snow. So we decided, looking at this data, that this would match with a tropical type climate. Florida's near the water, near the equator. We thought about that and we decided that belonged to Florida. Then we looked at this table and we noticed a big difference. Remember when I said, don't bother with the degrees Celsius? Again today, don't worry about the Celsius. Focus on the degrees Fahrenheit. Max means the high, minimum is the low. The mean is just like an average overall. Focus on these two. So in January, it only gets up to 14 degrees in this place. The low is 1 degree. That's pretty cold, right? And then we also noticed that in the hot, August usually is one of the hottest months of the year. The high is only 50, or is that 56? I think my cursor's on there. And the low is 39. That's in the summer, you guys. So we can tell that this is a cooler type of what? Climate. It's going to be north of that equator or be way down low if we were thinking like Antarctica, where they don't get that sunlight. And then we also looked at the amount of precipitation or rainfall. And we noticed it wasn't super rainy, right? Not super rainy, probably no rainforest there. Really, they only had 59 days where they got snow or rain. And the total for the whole year is only 10 inches. Do you guys see where I'm getting that? If you look down, it's kind of cool. On this one, it says year. For the whole year, only 10 inches of rain and only 59 days had rain in the whole year. So where did we say this data came from? Greenland. So if we go back to our map, you'll see, let's go back. Greenland is up north, way away from that equator. Here we go. And then Tampa is way down here. Is there a big difference? Think about that equator, right? That imaginary line where the sun shines most directly, and you're going to get hotter temperatures. All right, so you guys, I asked you in your science spiral, see if you can find it, to number from 1 to 6. So you would number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I have 6 different graphs or tables with weather data telling the temperatures and the precipitation or rainfall, might be snow. And nope, you didn't finish, that's why we're doing it today. You and your team are trying to decide which graph matches with which city. You have Ecuador right here, and it's on the back of your directions too. You have Ecuador, which is in South America. You have Mozambique. It's on the back of your paper when you get it, so don't panic. You have Perth in Australia. You have Alexandria in Egypt. And you have Siberia way up here. And don't forget Anchorage in Alaska, way up here. So that's 6 different cities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to have to put them in order with the graph or table that you are given. Now we started this earlier this week, but we ran out of time. So I just want to make sure we're clear on what we're doing. If you are remote, I have those same maps, or you can call them graphs or tables, numbered to help you. And you and your team in your breakout room are going to do the same exact thing. You can pull up this map on the slideshow presentation for Wednesday. You'll have to find it on Wednesday. Sorry about that. I thought I might have put it on there. I'm not positive now. I was having trouble finding it. So let me show you real quick, and this won't hurt you guys. When you go to Google Classroom, if you go to Wednesday, 12:45, here's the PDF. That might be the easiest. See how I numbered them? They're right there, all numbered. And you guys have the same thing in paper form. Now, if you are in Fridays, actually, I have both. I have it on Friday as well. I did do it. Who knew? So ignore the other things on there. I just wasn't sure where it's going today. So here's the World City Match Google slide. That's where you can click on that and you can get to the map. It's slide number, let's see, 1, 2, 3. What do you guys think? It's up. It's 6, right? Slide number 6, right there. You can click on it, look at that, and then in your Google Classroom, you will also find under the assignment the weather graphs and tables. Any questions from my remote learners? I'm going to stop sharing for a minute and see if there are any hands up. Haley, you get it? Are you good? Give me a thumbs up if you guys are okay at home. Lennox, Gavin, Ben. I guess Jensen's not here. Jensen, if you're here, please turn on your camera. I can't see you, bud. Yeah, keep your camera on, Jensen, because that's how I know if you're understanding. You know that, right? Have we ever said, let's turn off cameras? So just let's make that a rule, bud. Don't ever turn your camera off. Got it? Awesome. That'd be great. Okay. The rest of you, any questions? Yes, Ryder. Do you remember your old group? Mrs. Harrison, do you care? No. Okay, we might just, if you can find your old group, great. But we need, what did we say, groups of 4? 5. Groups of 4 or 5. Try to find your old group. When you have it, come see me and I'll give you your materials. I'm going to put you guys in breakout rooms and you guys can get started as well. I can't talk to you when I'm working with these guys. Sorry. There you go. You can join your room.
We need like the map and like
right? You guys have a group. I need to see your group.
Logan, are you in that group there? The highest is 65 and the lowest is 10.
Hey guys, everybody should be looking at the same map at the same time and talking about it. Don't divide it up. Everyone looks at number 1 and says, okay, the highs are blank, the lows are blank. Where do you think it's going to be? The amount of rainfall is this. I don't think there's rainforest there. Where do you think it could be? Okay, guys, if it's tropical near the equator, you're going to have a little more rain and warmer temperatures. If it's cold, you're going to be north, right, or really far south. Usually the southern places are a little warmer. So everybody's looking at the same map and discussing it.
Okay, I'd rather go in the pound. But then I get to see or what? I call number 2. I call number 6. Yeah, but definitely number 6. Ow! The more time you go,
Guys, if you see a lot of rainfall, one of the maps has a ton of rainfall, I would look near a rainforest. That's a little hint. Look for a rainbow. Next group, are you done? Show me on your fingers if you need 1 minute or 0. All right, I'm giving you 1 minute, 60 seconds. Make sure of your work.
Oh, it's okay. It's just,
I hit all 3 and they're all working hard.
it's frustrating.
They don't have necessarily the best answers, but
They
work
tried?
hard.
Good. It was hard. Okay, guys, we're gonna head back to our desks. Mrs. Harrison said my remote learners worked super hard. So air hug from your teacher. Thank you for working so hard. I think we'll collect materials in a little bit. Don't worry about that yet. But if one person wants to make a stack of all of them, like you did last time, Mrs. Harrison will come and get the papers for us. So make sure you have your answers. We're gonna see how you did. Okay, hold on 1 second. You guys are being very respectful. I'm just getting ready here. Make sure no one can see the answers. All right. So I will share my screen. Let's get you guys back. I'm not muted. Isn't that wonderful? Usually I'm muted by now. All right, so we are going to look at each one. So let's look at number one. We noticed that the high temperatures they're pretty high, right? 80s and 90s. Never really got below 60s. Some rain or precipitation, about 33 inches. It rains 65 days out of the year, not a ton. So what did you guys think? Number one, what did you get, Evie? Perth? Anybody else agree that it could be Perth, kind of warm? Perth is in Australia. It's known to be pretty warm. Anyone get something different? Logan? I heard Ecuador. Marin, what'd you get? Where in South America? Ecuador? Another Ecuador? Any other guesses? Number 1 was, are you ready? Silent drum roll. Semi-silent. Actually, where are you? Was Mozambique. Number 1. Okay. All right. Number 1 was Mozambique. Think about it. Pretty warm. Here's our equator. Not a lot of precipitation. Kind of gets a lot of sunlight. Doesn't get very cool. Kind of like Florida, you always feel like there's not much of a change in seasons. So that would be the case there. Okay, our second one, I have too many tabs open, Mrs. Harrison. I don't even know.
I have less than you do today.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get rid of that one. If I can. So I can get back to some of these. Okay. Don't need that. All right. No, I don't want that. All right. Where did our maps go? Sorry, guys. We got to find the one I just had. Where is it? Don't need that. This doesn't help. I just had it. We were just looking at it, weren't we? And now it's gone.
It's the one next to the one you're on.
This.
Yeah, that one.
Well, that one, but I need to find the actual graphs. So that's where I got to go back. Maybe it left us. Let's just open it again, and that'll be simpler. All right, so number 2, oh, not 3. We noticed there was this was an odd one, you guys. And if you took this clue, you'd figure it out. It helped me because I have a friend who lives here. So if you think about the temperatures, in January, we had about 88 degrees. Think about that. What happens in January here? Is it 88 degrees, Marin? It's pretty what? Pretty cold. 88 in February. March, 84, 76 in April. But then look what happens when we start warming up. In May, June, July, August, September, they're cooler. They're in the 60s. Now, is that really cold? Not cold. It never really gets below that, but it's kind of weird that those months have those temperatures, wouldn't you think? Their precipitation was not a lot. They get some rain. They have some humidity. Might be near the water. There's quite a bit of humidity in these months here, 72%, 73. That's water in the air. What did we get for this one? Number 2. Yeah, Logan. Egypt. What did you get? Egypt. Anyone get something different? Yeah? Perth. If you said Perth, you're right. Why do you think it's Perth, Robert? Why did your team think Perth? What do we notice about Perth down here in Australia? Well, okay, it's a little bit south of the equator. Here's number 2 is Perth. Does anyone know why it would be cooler in the summer months? Why do you think? Near the ocean, but so is Florida near the ocean, and that doesn't happen there. Sawyer, what do you think? Why would Australia be cooler in our summer months? Look at where it's located. It's down pretty low, isn't it? So my friend lives there, and the funniest thing, at Christmas, they do barbecues because it's summer. Their seasons are different because of where they are in the world and the tilt of the earth. And so they have winter when we have summer. Yes. So in the summer, she's my Facebook friend. In the summer, she's posting pictures of her and her family with jackets on, even though it's not really that cold there. But they're not in their swimming pools, right? They're not at the beach in the water because it's winter in June, July, and August. So at Christmas, like I said, they're outside, it's sunny.
They're in the pool and they're having barbecues. That's what their tradition is for Christmas. So because of the tilt of the earth, their seasons are different because they're so far south on Earth, right? That when it tilts, it goes away from the sun, and we're tilting toward the sun in the summer. Pretty cool. I thought that one was kind of fun. So number 2 was Perth.
Well, are you learning something? That's all that matters. All right, number 3. I find it interesting. This is hard work. This one was tough too. So here's the temperature. Never gets higher than 65. In July, it's 65. But in January, the low is 10 degrees. Doesn't get much colder than 10 degrees, but it's in the winter time. And then they do get quite a bit of precipitation, August and September. Well, a couple inches, few inches. I guess that's not very much, but consistently throughout the year, they get about just not even an inch actually. So I guess it's not very rainy, not in a rainforest, that's for sure. Evie, where did you guess, you and your team? Ecuador, anyone get some? Now Ecuador has a rainforest. Keep that in mind, the Amazon rainforest. So they would get tons of rain in Ecuador. Marin? Africa is not going to get 10 degrees, right? It's pretty warm in Africa. You're not going to have a low of 10. What do you think? Anchorage, Alaska. Yeah. You would think it'd be even colder, but in this city that I chose, Anchorage, other parts of Alaska get colder, boys and girls. So I think that was deceiving. But I chose a city that was more, not as far north, therefore it was a little warmer. So that's where most people live in Alaska, right? It's one of the most populated cities because in Anchorage, it's warmer. So they like that. So number 3 is Anchorage, Alaska, way up here in the northern part of the earth. All right, let's look at number 4. We have, wow, if you just look at the average temperature, it's always either 70 or 68. There's no change really. This is pretty warm, not hot, but pretty warm. And the really shocking thing here is how much rain they get. 258 days of the year, they have rain. It's almost every day. Where do you think, Robert? Okay. Well, we just did Anchorage, so it can't be Anchorage. Number 4, Ecuador is right. Why is it Ecuador? What do we know about South America? What does it have there? I think Paxton might know. Do you? Yes, it has a rainforest, Amazon rainforest there. So we have, am I right with the Amazon? Or is it? Yeah, okay. Ish. Right in there? It's right in there. There's a rainforest, so you're going to get a lot of rain. Good job, Ben. All right. Number 5, we're almost there. Wow, big difference. Anybody notice the negative signs? That means below 0. This is the coldest place. I never want to go here. It is like, I call it the coldest place on earth. I don't know if it is, but it's cold. It is negative 51 is the average temperature in January. And people actually live here. Now the warmest it ever gets is in the summer in July with 55 degrees is the average. It could get to 70, but the average is only 55. It does get some precipitation, but not a lot. 52 days of the year it precipitates. All right, what do you think, Ellie? Spell it. Siberia. She is right. Siberia, Russia. Here it is. That's number 5. When I think of Siberia, I think of the Russians with their fur hats, right? Always bundled up in the movies.
always some kind of Russian spy movie and they're out in the snow and it's cold. Even books I read that take place in that setting, it's always freezing. So that's why I will never probably go to Siberia unless it's the summer. Then would it be okay? Then we might not freeze. So obviously number 6 with an average, the 60s through the 80s, this one's not so bad. And then they have, where's the precipitation for this one? Did I not get it? I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't get it, but any ideas? Last but not least, has to be what, Ryder? Egypt looks like a pretty nice place to be. It doesn't change much. It's kind of cool. December, the average is 59 degrees. And in the summer, the hottest month, it's only 86. That's pretty doable. So maybe Egypt is the place to go. Alexandria, Egypt. How did we do? Fist to 5. Did we do okay? 2.5. Have some zeros, not so good. So here's my question to you. Do you think being a meteorologist is an easy job? Do you think it's easy? Is it important? Yes. So we should. And a hush fell over the crowd. And a hush fell over the crowd again. Hush, hush. Okay, so thank you. If you love math, you love science, you love to help people, meteorology would be a great field to go into. We are going to take the next bit of time, and I thought we were going to do something else, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to get our reading today on the weather. We're going to actually become the weather forecaster again. Let me show you what we had, my remote learners and my in-person learners. We had for yesterday, and you can write this down if you didn't get it. I'm going to put it on for you. We're going to need this because we're going to be making some graphs. We'll probably do that on Monday now, which is just fine. For number 3, which was day 3 yesterday, and if you have something different, that's fine. I just want to give you a chance to write it in if you don't have it. We said that the temperature was about 39 degrees Fahrenheit, 2.3 mile per hour winds where we're going. So maybe you guys had, I think when I looked on my phone, it said like 7 mile per hour winds. If you have that, that's fine. What cloud type did you guys get? Astria, what did you guys notice yesterday? Which one? There were some cumulus. Oh my gosh, the clouds were amazing this morning. When I work out in the morning and it's dark when I leave, and when I come back, I watch the sunrise from my workout place. I wished I could have taken a picture for you guys. I thought, oh, my class would love to see all these beautiful clouds because when the sun was rising, it was so pretty. And today, those clouds aren't quite as pretty, but we're going to go outside and look again. Our rainfall, we did get about 1/4 centimeter. So some of us had trouble with that fraction. I just want to remind you, meteorologists use math. When we say 1/4 or 1/4, that's the same thing in science as in math. That's where you're using it. That's real world application. So about 1/4 centimeter. And then the current weather yesterday, it was cold. I know Mrs. Harrison and I were cold. It was cloudy, right? Anybody have a different word they put there? Yes, Madison. It was a bit windy at times, right? That's what made it kind of cold. What did you make as your forecast? I've been not filling this in because I want to see what you came up with. Marin, what did you say for the forecast for today?
I said cloudy and cold.
She said cloudy and cold. Was your forecast right? Partly cold, cool maybe? All right, Josh, what did you say? Cloudy and sunny. Were you right? For the morning you were. It was really sunny this morning and pretty, but it went away. Okay, so
I was gonna say, I just sent you a photo, I haven't heard your ding yet, but I have one from the sunrise this morning.
you were up too, Mrs.
Yeah,
Harrison?
I actually stole it from someone else.
Someone else, okay.
No, actually, I was awake, yes, but taking pictures now.
Oh, so Mrs. Harrison just sent me a picture. I wonder if we can see it.
I haven't heard your ding yet, so I don't know if you've gotten it.
Oh, it might not be there yet. Our phones don't always work
I
quickly.
know, right?
So go ahead and put day 4. And remote learners, you have this same sheet because I sent it home with you. And by the way, remote learners, I'm sending an email to your parents. You're going to get some clay and a poster for the posters for a weather project we're doing in science. You're also going to get the clay from Mrs. Hancock from Haiwan Homestead Museum. She's bringing it Monday. So your name will be on it. So make sure your parents pick up your clay before Tuesday morning at 10 because she is going to do some clay work with us next week. So not till next week, but I just wanted to throw that out there. And you also have a poster to pick up with your name on it. Okay, so yeah, we have some precipitation right now, so we might actually be able to write more than a 1/4 centimeter there. Any questions about our next activity, getting our data? Yes, Noah. It is snowing. We have a form of precipitation falling from the sky as in snow. So that means, do you guys know the temperature? Elena, do you know what temperature it has to be for water to freeze? Help her out, Max Fox, birthday boy. We have a birthday boy in the house.
It has to be 32 degrees or lower.
32 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. So do you think we can make a prediction on our weather? Is the temperature gonna be as high as yesterday's? Nope, it should be 32 or lower. All right, and we should have some cloud coverage because is it gonna snow without clouds? It shouldn't. I've seen it happen. I think it's blown in from somewhere else, but yeah, it should not happen. I can't explain that. So, and then you guys are gonna make the forecast for tomorrow. Any questions? All right, then I will see you guys. Oh my gosh, I'm teaching math at 2:15. See you at 2:15. Get out there, get your forecast for tomorrow.
I have no idea what
Good job, guys.